Hey guys, welcome back to Ironside Ranch, and today we're going to talk about Pigs 101, and you can hear them, they're in here squealing like crazy. Pigs have been kind of an interesting thing for us to figure out. We're raising Kunes, which is, kind of the homesteader's choice for pigs. We're actually going to stay with Kunes, even though we're going into trying to transition into raising pigs for actual profit and creating a production line out of it. But right now this is just for us and for our enjoyment and our meat. But that's the long-term goal. These are all purebred pigs that we have here. You can see we got the 2 gilts and the 1 boar. Kunes are a little bit different because there's no set limits for weight and grain and how much to feed them. We actually don't feed them that much grain. They've been putting on weight pretty much by themselves via grass. And they've been pretty easy to handle. For the summertime, we just built a little lean-to outside that they were able to go get in the shade and get out of the rain and everything. Wintertime, because we're moving, we're trying to keep our costs down with some of this infrastructure. And so I just took couple pallets and made this little ring for them, and it's very solid in here for them. So this gets them out of the weather a little bit. It's under the barn. And this will allow them to stay warm throughout the wintertime. So amounts of grain that we feed them. Right now we're feeding them about 3 quarts of grain a day. That probably doesn't need to be that much. They're not going to starve if they do less than that. They certainly seem to find their own feed just going through the grass and any hay and stuff in the bedding. They do a really good job. They do not rut. The gilts didn't rut at all. The boar ruts a little bit. But the gilts, they didn't do anything to our land out there. They left it pretty much alone. All they did was go out there and they chew on grass just like a cow. It's kind of funny to watch them. They do a really good job cleaning out the orchard. We put them around the pear trees, and we didn't have a single pear out there that fell off the tree rotting on the ground. So it kept the flies down and everything like that. They just go through and they eat it all up. So at the new property, the new permanent pig pasture is actually going to go around the entire orchard. We house them together. You can see the gilts and the boars are all together. The boar doesn't really try to do anything. The gilts, he has occasionally, but the gilts don't sit for him. They move out away from him just like the goats do. I know traditional pig wisdom says to separate everything, but there's a lot of people that are doing it together and they're not having any problems, and we're not currently having any problems. We'll see. Okay, so the next question was water. How do we set up our water infrastructure here? When we know we're leaving, we don't want any permanent water infrastructure. Hey, buddy. And so we didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. And what we actually found is they have these little rubber tubs that you can get at Home Depot. They're in the contractor section. Home Depot or Lowe's. They're in the contractor section, or in the concrete section. And you go over there and it's for mixing up concrete. And the idea is that they're real cheap rubber and you're supposed to throw them out when you're all done. But anything that we could find at feed stores or whatever, it was expensive. And those tubs there is about the exact same thing. And you can get those for, I think they're like $3. I mean, they're real cheap. And that's actually worked really well. It gives them, they go in there, they take a bath in there, they go lay in it and cool down. We do flush it out every day, or actually twice a day. We get all the mud and grit out of there because they make it pretty dirty. Okay, so with the pigs, the breed that we've got is Kunes, and Kunes are, if you're familiar with them, they're kind of a homesteader's choice. They do really well. They're very docile. They don't beat up the land too much. Even though Bill's coming in here with a big old chunk of grass right now. That's funny. Perfect timing. So you can see Bill has those big old wattles on there. Okay, then we had to look at medicine for them. It seems like everybody's using ivermectin for about everything. Goats, cows, sheep, pigs, everything seems to work really well on ivermectin. You can even treat your dogs with it. The pigs can do an oral ingestion with it, and then you don't have the risk and the pain of needles and dealing with the needles. And so if you saw our goat video on goat medicine, we've actually swapped the way we're doing that. We now do that oral with the goats. And we'll do it oral with the pigs as well. They're actually all about ready to get a treatment here this weekend. Everything from the goats to the pigs are all going to get a treatment. So the pigs will get their ivermectin for worming. As of right now, that's about it. Everybody's got different opinions on this, on what they need. We're going to kind of see how it goes. We're going to have some of their stools sampled and see what we're actually coming back with, and if they actually need any more any more medication than just the ivermectin if that's keeping them well. The typical recommendations that we're finding is about once every 6 months. Like I said, we'll see how that goes. We'll update and we'll let y'all know. The people we bought them from actually don't worm, and they have not wormed in 6 years. And they believe in using natural remedies. They use garlic, and they've had their stool tested, and they've never had worms in it. Take that for what it is. Now the next thing with the pigs was the legal requirements. We found that pigs have different legal requirements, and so we're going to have to start figuring this out as far as getting them ear tagged, what the proper ear tagging procedure is. A lot of that information is available through the USDA's website, and so we've been finding out exactly what we need to do there. And I think, from my understanding of it, we have to get most of that done before we actually move, because we're not legally supposed to transport them. I guess there's some waiverability in there for if they're for personal use or if you're actually raising them to sell them. These ones right now are for us, but eventually we will be raising pigs out to sell them. So it just kind of depends on how you look at it. We're going to err on the side of meeting all the regulations and requirements, so we don't run into any issues with it. Certainly don't. Okay, so the last thing is safety. The last thing we'll really talk about is safety with the pigs. The pigs are not inherently dangerous. They're pretty docile. They'll roll over and let you scratch their belly. But they're certainly something that deserves respect. Yes, they are little, but they get pretty big. Our boar's father was 250 pounds, which is big for a Kune, very big for a Kune. And so the pigs will get big, and they are very strong, and they have a low center of gravity, and they're very quick. So they also have the tusks that are very, very sharp. So again, it's just use your head about you when you're dealing with them. That may not be something you want the kids spending a bunch of time with, especially as they start getting older. Right now, our kids still take care of them. As these pigs continue to grow, that may change, because right now it's safe for them to be in there with them. The kids are strong enough to handle the pigs. But as the pigs continue to grow, I'm not sure that's going to be the case. And so we probably won't have them do it, or if they do, they'll do it from outside the fence. So anyways, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them down in the comment box below. We do read those, and we do, right now we respond to everyone that we see, but I don't know how long that'll stay up for or not. We're trying to, but Amanda and I both work full-time as well. YouTube's just for fun for us. But other than that, guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. Make sure and like us on Facebook also, and then hit that little bell notification up there at the top. Thanks again for watching. You can check out our website at IronsideRanchLLC.com.